I've had.
Does he have people ask him to do weird stuff like put ketchup on his feet and stuff like that?
That's probably. He gets DM'd a lot. So
Yeah.
I used to get DMs a lot, and then I stopped doing.
Yeah. So Ultimate Self-Defense Championship Episode 3: Hide and Go Stab.
I can go stab.
If any event was hand tailored to my skill set, it was this one. I've done all these things in real life. And not only did I create a pretty complex plan, every single part of my plan worked perfectly, including there's a part of my plan, there's something that I did that I have not told anyone, that I haven't even told you.
I was scared. I was so scared.
Jeff was hid in the shadows somewhere. I didn't see him. Matt hid
Jeff
somewhere.
saying he's scared, he's so scared is funny to me because he's so
I just
sweet.
don't believe him.
Yeah, he's so tough and so sweet, and the whole time he's like, and I feel like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, why do you feel
Why are you
like that?
scared?
Yeah, like
They should be scared. They're chasing you.
Hide and Go Stab was a
Go
really
Stab.
cool concept. I really enjoyed the idea. It put to the test all the people who say just run.
Yeah.
There are plenty of scenarios where running is a good idea, but there's probably more scenarios where running is a bad idea. We'd already been through it. Beat up, beat
Yeah.
down, hurt. I was in rough physical shape.
Long story short, we have to run into this building. We're then chased by people, and we have 5 minutes to hide. Once that timer goes off, we have 5 minutes to get out.
And we were limited on which doors we could go out.
Yeah.
There was 4 doors we could have gone out. Somebody didn't realize that we could have gone out any of these doors,
Yeah.
which we'll get into later. Seth made a bit of a blunder.
Yeah.
The 3 competitors then made their way to the warehouse where they were intending to stick together, but
As soon as we go to the warehouse, we split. I'm on my own. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do.
I ended up being on my own, while
Seth and I sort of worked together a little bit.
Hey, open a bunch of doors, Mike. Mike, what about in here? Look, lots of stuff in here.
Mike and I went underneath the amphitheater.
I mean, I think this is the move.
Rokas thought we left him.
So that's what I want to talk about. Rokas. So Seth came over to me. Do you remember the exact sequence of events of how this happened?
We walk in, and I'm like, we're looking around. And
No.
Before that?
Before that. We're out in the yard.
Out in the yard.
You don't remember the conversation that we had?
No, I don't.
You know why you don't remember?
I was traumatized.
No, I made sure nobody remembered.
Okay.
I took this conversation, pulled it apart, and sprinkled it in the air like it never existed.
Okay.
Rokas wanted to work together, all 3 of us.
I remember that.
You came up to me and said, Rokas wants to work together, all 3 of us. And
You
I,
did that?
as the elder statesman and the oldest and like the most experienced in this field, I quickly shredded this idea and I said, no, here's what happens. We create this plan. There's 0 chance that we're going to stick to it. It's not going to happen. We're better off just trying to fucking figure it out. All right? Actually, you know how I know that? And if you don't think that's true, look at what happened to our friends.
going into the building, Team 2 decided to stick together and devised an elaborate plan.
Jeff was like, I feel like I got a really good rear naked choke. If we can just catch one by surprise, I'll sink that in. I was like, sick. Okay, I'll go for the knife arm. Ramsey, if there's another one, you just keep him at bay. We're all in agreement. I like turned around to look at the door. I turned back around. They had both disappeared.
So we came up with a plan, which we didn't follow at all.
That's what usually happens when you make a plan.
Yeah.
Now I can manage one jabroni, right?
I would say I was the leader.
Sure. Okay.
Roll the
Comment
footage.
below.
You hear me talking. You don't hear you talking.
Okay.
Mike and I went underneath the amphitheater.
I mean, I think this is the move.
He helped me climb up onto a piece of furniture,
There's a chair. Just move our way out.
and then we moved away the chair that I used so it would look impossible that a person could be up there.
Meanwhile, I was struggling to find a hiding spot and the timer ran out.
I viewed Rokas as a bit of a liability. And
He did hide in a bathroom.
I had a plan. It was a 2-guy plan. I had a 2-guy plan in my head. And I had to pick. I have more experience manipulating Seth than I do Rokas. I know what I can say to make Seth kind of like be like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And now, by no means am I trying to like screw you over.
Sure.
It was a good idea.
It was good. Our plan was
The plan
great.
was a good plan.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I could make Rokas stick to it. Too many bodies, too many people. So
This whole time. Okay, good.
Yeah, it was all intentional. I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. And then we got in and I was like, all right, let's go.
Do you know immediately I saw that? And Rokas was like, they left me. And I was like, no, we didn't. Which I don't think we did.
You didn't. You have what we call in the industry plausible deniability.
have a bad feeling about this. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna go all or nothing. And I see this one restroom, which is completely dark. As soon as I enter, I can see nothing. I'm thinking the same is gonna happen to my attackers. So there's a door, and I decided I'm just gonna go by the door, sit down, and I'm gonna invest all of myself into that decision.
Wait, sorry. So you're telling me what you did was you high school partied Rokus, where like Rokus was like, we were the pretty girls and we like, Rokus was like a part of the conversation, then we like kind of like,
Hey, so what are we doing after this? And it's like, I think we're just going home.
yeah.
You know? But I let you think we really were going home. So you didn't do anything wrong to Rokus. I did that. I did that to you, Rokus, because I was trying to beat you at this game. Seth was closest to the doors to come into the theater.
Yeah.
And I was further in a much better hiding spot.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they would get to Seth first, and my goal was to make noise, and as predicted, they came running right over.
Yeah, they did.
I did get a little part of this wrong, and I thought it was 2 guys in there. Because,
I thought so too.
Well, here's why I thought that. Because part of the plan, I told you, when you leave, they'll chase after you, and you did something very smart, and you made more of a ruckus than necessary to go out.
I take off. And I try to be as loud as I can, so Mike then has them leave him. There's a chair, and I jump over the chair. I'm moving as fast as I can.
And it was so much noise going out that I was like, that's definitely them chasing Seth. At first,
Yeah.
they cut a lot of the dead space out. There was a lot of space in there, just me sitting in there waiting for him.
Yeah, which was, I don't know about for you, much more uncomfortable than I expected.
The waiting?
The little amount of time that I was waiting, I was like, because I was covering up my camera, and I was like,
So I've done this. I've hidden underneath a trailer and done this exact same plan. We were serving a warrant on a guy.
Okay.
And he wouldn't ever come out, and we couldn't get a search warrant to go into the house, but like we knew he was in there and we had an arrest warrant for him. So you got to get him out, or you got to get your eyeballs on him.
okay.
So I hid under the trailer and had them pretend to look for him and then leave.
Yeah.
And then I waited a while, and then he came out to like take his recycling or his trash or something out.
If you were giving him a warrant, it probably wasn't his recycling.
And I jumped out from under the trailer, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Put your hands behind your back." And he was trying to smoke a cigarette, and he was like, he looked at me and he like laughed. He was like, "Are you serious?"
You under my trailer? How long were you down there?
But I remember when I first started doing stuff like that, the breathing, your own breathing, sounds like thunder. You were all the way on the right side. I threw it all the way to the left, and I was in back left
Maybe
corner.
that's how he knew.
Yeah, so he kind of thought, there ain't no way that you made that noise.
Yeah.
So props to Alex for figuring that part out and sticking with me.
When I sprinted out, you made a good noise, and I was like, oh, sweet, I'm out of here.
He went right over, like an NPC.
Yeah, he did. He was like, I took off, and I'm sprinting down the hallway. I get up the stairs, and I'm sprinting for my life. I
Yeah.
don't see anybody. And to the point where I get halfway there, I'm like, oh, crap.
Did you know where we were at on the timing and the timetable was like when you could leave and stuff like that?
Oh, no, I didn't think about it even a little bit. When I'm sprinting, the second bell went off, and I was like, okay,
So that means you could
sweet,
leave.
I can leave.
Yeah.
And then I get all the way down, and then you...
We don't know what happened next.
Adrian.
Adrian
I
happened
happened
next.
to run directly in front of where he was.
Why'd you go upstairs?
Because I thought the only place you were allowed to exit, as Rokus and I were walking up, he was like, you're allowed to leave out of that door.
Oh.
So-
he was saying, hey, see all these, there's a lot of doors.
Like-
You're allowed to leave out of that door.
Yeah.
And you heard you're allowed to leave out of that door.
Probably. Or Rokus got me.
If Rokus did do that to you on purpose, masterful
Yeah,
play,
that was
sir.
really smart if that was...
So after
he
you
honked me.
ran out of the theater, was anyone chasing you?
I don't think so.
So you're just running and sprinting and climbing and jumping and for like nothing?
For nothing. But when you're running and you are like... I was sure somebody would be chasing me. And I don't think anyone was.
Is it like, dude, sometimes when I go
Like
out,
where you see Jeff Chan running?
Yeah, you
where
read
he's
that.
got like a group of people behind it. It
Even
looks like Indiana Jones running through the Temple of Doom or something.
is it like, so sometimes when I go out to the garage at night and I get a beer out of the garage fridge,
Yeah.
I'm like,
You
like I feel like
scurry
someone
over
might
it.
be behind me, even
Yeah.
though I have no reason to believe that.
Yeah, it was kind of like that.
There's 2 of you in there.
Yet despite the attacker staying with Icy Mike, he had the upper hand due to his previous experience as a police officer.
I've spent time on a Bloodhound team, SWAT team, warrant service team. I've chased lots of dudes. I know what works and what doesn't. And it became a waiting game.
Time's ticking, mate.
And it's a weird tension. He knows I'm in there, but it's tough to be in my shoes there.
See you.
Well, he knows I'm in here. I know he's in there. Let's do this. Let's make it happen.
I hop down And then we played this like he wouldn't come in and I wouldn't come out because
Yeah.
we didn't want to commit to a side.
Yeah.
So I went to the doors. There was doors here.
The doors I
here.
left out of.
Yeah, but there was like 2 sets.
Yep.
One was closer to the
That
exit,
worked.
one was further.
Yep.
I ran to the ones further from the eventual exit that I wanted.
Okay.
And I hit him and then ran back under the seats. And he went running out those doors. And then I ran out the other doors that were closer to the exit.
You didn't run through the front ones.
No.
You ran through the side ones.
Yes.
And then which door did you go through after that?
Right out that, basically the second door. I went out the front of the building, furthest from Adrian. About as far from Adrian as I could end up.
Nice.
Yeah. That was not intentional. I didn't know he was out there or where he was.
Why? Yeah.
I chose that because,
Did you expect anybody to be outside?
yes. I
Oh,
chose
I
that
didn't.
set of doors instead of the other ones because I came out not near a corner, and I could see. I would be able to see all the way around the building where I came out.
Didn't do that.
Yeah, I've done this in real life
Yeah.
with real criminals.
They took the bait. They run out. These guys don't know who they're dealing with. And I start running. And then I see Adrian.
I think Adrian's probably the only man out there that had more reps of chasing. Well, you played football, and that's in football.
I
But
didn't
think,
chase people though.
But in rugby, I think that's strategically more of a
It's
way
like
it
all they
happens.
do.
It's the whole time.
that's all they do. Yeah.
And they're trying to run and intercept people. So I'm running, and I'm looking at Adrian, and I'm telling by the way he's running, by the way his tan muscles are glistening in the
Yeah, he's
Australian
kinda shining.
sun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like a golden god body with a Darth Vader face
He had
chasing
a helmet
you.
on, but you knew his hair was perfect.
It was
underneath.
perfect. Teeth shining white
Yeah.
through the face shield.
Yeah.
I knew I was not going to get away. And I said, last thing he's expecting is I just turn and run at him.
What else but a flying sidekick? Boom. Use it to change directions, and I'm off.
It worked out perfectly. It just came down to motor. Like I just didn't have the gas in the motor to get to the tree before him. And he got me and took me down. And he took me down. It looks pretty gnarly,
Yeah.
but he was kind of a gentleman. He would like wrap you up and
Yeah.
he would roll.
Yeah.
And he'd probably take the initial impact and then kind of
Yeah.
put me down.
Right. The only reason I stayed away from him as long as I did, I think, is actually because I fell.
The first fall,
Yeah.
you got up so quickly, despite the fact that you left a significant portion of
Yeah,
your
like-
body weight.
Like a nice.
There was like a
skitty blood mark.
half pound of flesh that came out of this guy's
Yeah,
knee.
there's a lot. And so I did that, and I kind of like scooted back up, and I got out, and then I fell the second time, and that was enough for me to get more space from him, because I got up clean that time.
Yeah.
And then by the third time, I fell down.
But
What's really funny is in the raw footage. I've looked through all the raw footage too.
yeah,
Is Gabby and Adrian talking to each other on the outside, and Gabby'd be like, "Oh, I hear something,"
that
and then Adrian's like,
oh,
yeah,
she
you're right.
is the fuck guy.
"Yeah." And you know what? It could have been Rokus.
No, she don't care. She's an agent of chaos.
Yeah, she
I
is.
told y'all about her in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I was Gabby.
Okay, hold on.
Wait.
Zombie apocalypse. That was all you.
Wait,
You were the chaos guy.
I'm telling you, Gabby. If Gabby had not died in the zombie, well, I'll save that for another story.
Okay.
I'll save that for my breakdown of the zombie apocalypse, episode 4.
Next year.
Shut up, man. I get to it when I get to it.
Yeah.
Episode 3 kind of proved that you can have skills, experience, planning, good execution, a good partner, teamwork, deception, and everything. Literally every step of the way.
Yeah.
From when we were being briefed to when I kicked Adrian in the chest. Everything that happened between there went exactly the way I decided it would go. You can have all the tools, have a great plan, it can all go perfect. You still are going to get got at the end.
And it's 0 for 2. 0 for 6.
Now, some notes about the other team. There's a couple things that I think are interesting. Jeff used what Jeff has, which is his attributes and his instincts. Like he's just a wild animal, bouncing off of people, bouncing off the wall.
Yeah.
Matt, as you always like to say about Matt,
Matt's got that dog in him.
yes,
Yeah.
it was on full display. I loved that he cares enough about the role players. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I would kick you right now, but it's not safe for me to kick
Yeah,
you
it's
right now.
not- Yeah.
I think when he said,
I would be kicking you in the face, theoretically.
the dungeon master should have said, "All right, you're dead. Like you have to come down to the bottom of the
Yeah,
step
I think if
ladder and land
if Dungeon Master Jeff was there,
Yeah.
he would have been like, he's right.
And then Ramsey. Do you remember? Ramsey was the last one out. He was in there forever. Do you remember the pop when Ramsey emerged from the building?
I do.
Dude, I wish they'd had cameras over by us and the other guys. We were going nuts
Yeah,
for
we really
Ramsey.
were.
We just wanted someone to win. I'm getting chills thinking about the noise that, because it was guttural. Ramsey came out, and I remember going, oh shit, he's doing it. He's doing it.
He's really doing
Remember,
it.
I was like, he's got a jacket.
Yeah.
He's got a jacket. Oh my God. But then they got on him like hyenas, like jackals.
a bunch of them, too.
Yeah, and he was like it was like Mufasa.
Yeah, it
You know,
really
just like-
helped that everybody was chasing him.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
still gave him problems.
What Ramsey went through is what I thought that I was going through.
Yeah, they're all over me.
There's nobody around.
Get him off me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump this chair. Parkour.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what the chair was? The chair was like, instead of being like,
Yeah.
I was going so fast, I was like, I can't possibly deviate
Yeah,
that
the
much. I've got to go over it.
You went, wee.
But I was going fast.
Where I was jammed up is that episode was going to end with no one scoring any points.
Yeah.
And I remember I wanted to tell Rokas, I was like, I think
3 of us got out.
you could restructure the points, but the problem was I didn't want to campaign for restructuring the points, being that
To get you points.
I would have won.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what they do with the scoring and that sort of thing next, because now they've seen what can happen. They say that the next event is going to have more opportunities to find and utilize weapons.
Oh, really?
There's going to be more opportunity for like your creativity and your wits, because a lot of the events were about horsepower, muscles, speed, fighting ability, like physically punching, kicking,
Right.
not like thinking your way out of problems. So I'm thinking that, you know who would do really well in season 2 of the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship?
Yeah.
Someone with a
little bit
intelligence.
of thinking, a little bit of thinking power.
Yeah. If you could find someone who is intelligent,
Right.
that
Oh, I
also
know a guy. That's in. I think they're talking about me.
Right. Are you ready? Jesse, are you ready, Mike?
Yep.
Mike!